Hello everyone, it's Lawrence here from Unicorn Reviews with the Raijintek Optical. The case comes in a pretty simple brown box with some marketing stuff on there, like most cases do. So that's the front of the case. Moving to the side, you just get, a tick which color it is. So you have the Optical black, which is the black one. Then on the back, you see like a 3D. Here are the specs. You can pause that if you want to read them. And then on the other side you get another cat drawing. So in the box you find this pretty simple instruction manual on how you put stuff in there, and of course the case itself. This is the white version of the Raijintek Optical, which has black mesh in the front and also a black motherboard tray, but we'll go into that later. The sides are pretty clean. Obviously on the right side of the case there's a dust filter. There's none on the left side because that would be pretty pointless. On the front, another mesh. So we'll just move up. You have this intake here in the bottom, USB 3 audio headset, well, microphone audio, USB 2, 3 optical drives, a reset button, the power button, and a power light and a hard drive activity light. On the back, 7 PCI expansion slots, 2 external water cooling grommets, and of course your power supply cutout, and then a very long but a bit too narrow dust filter. Every intake on the case is dust filtered, and other than the front you can also remove the dust filter to clean it, for example. So the side has 2 thumb screws, and then pretty conveniently placed there's this latch, which doesn't really latch anything. It's just like a handle that you can use to take the side panel off. So you just open it, you can pull the side panel out. Pretty simple stuff. I kind of wish they would make it like without the thumb screw, so the latch was an actual latch which you just open. So this is the magnetic dust filter. It comes with 2 of those, one for the side and one for the top, of course. Moving to the other side, so the left side of the case, you can see that there are some holes, but there's no handle included. So you'll just have to use the thumb screws, and then there's a bit of a embossed area on the bottom where you can almost get your fingers behind to try and pull the panel off, but it's quite hard in there. So the panels there's a bit too much friction for my liking. But then you see the back of the motherboard tray where we have a huge CPU cutout, 3 rubber grommets, about 7 ties, so you can put your cables there. Sadly, none on the all the way at the back of the board. There are no hooks for your zip ties. You get a USB 3 header, so only one USB 3 port on the front, but sadly a full-size header, but they don't make half-size headers. You get your audio, HD audio, no AC, 97 audio, of course your USB 2, the front panel connectors, and then there's also a fan connector. So it comes with 2 fans, 2 120mm. Both have these rubberized cables, really, so they're all black. All cables are black, which is great for a case in this price range. I absolutely hate it when you can actually see the colors. Inside this box that I just took out, you can find a few zip ties, oddly enough radiator screws, so you can put 25mm radiators in there, or some combination that adds up to 50mm. The top 3 hard drive bays are removable. For that you undo 2 thumb screws first, and then the entire assembly comes out, really. So it's a pretty easy to use system. I don't know if 2 thumb screws were really necessary. A bit of an overkill, but better than your hard drives falling out, I guess. On the inside of the case, on this side again, you just see a few holes. There's a big hole above the power supply, and then room in the top for a 240mm radiator, or you can even put a 280mm in, I think, if you're lucky with your optical drives. Installing one of these hard drives, pretty simple job. You just take the plastic bracket, click your hard drive in it, and then you slide it into the the hard drive carriage. It's really that simple, no tools needed. There are two little holes so you can screw them in place, but why would you? It's in there pretty solid. It has these two plastic clamps, quite similar to what the front base used, but we'll go into that later. And then you can just screw it back in place. So for a optical drive installation, just get your optical drive. Now this optical drive is slightly longer than your average optical drive. So yeah, as you can see, again, the front is dust filtered and even has this foam to cancel out noise. And so you just slide your optical drive in from the front, like with almost every single case out there, and then you get this plastic toolless thingy, and you just give it half a turn, well, a quarter of a turn really, and it's locked in place. Cable management sadly isn't so good. You can see that there's this massive metal brace separating the back where the motherboard is and the front, so you try to route everything underneath the brace because it doesn't go all the way to the bottom, but sadly there's not really enough room behind the motherboard tray to conveniently put everything in there and not worry too much. You do have to put some thought into it. It is quite tricky to put the left side panel back on, so you kind of need two hands and a butt for it, so you can push it in there while keeping it in the slots with your hands. After that, obviously, you just put the thumb screws back in, and when you do it right, you won't be able to see much cable or many cables on the inside. Again, something I commented on with previous cases on the dust filters is that you could see straight through them. With cases that don't have them, this case looks pretty damn good, doesn't it? So you have these dust filters on the top and the side, so you can't see what's inside the case, which I absolutely love. It should also help a bit if there are LEDs inside your case to keep the light from going out. And then here's the bottom, as you can see, long dust filter. Alright guys, fan test. So this is 12 volts. Let's just listen. Other than the wind noise, there's a weird, just the noise fans make really. So it's not really a weird noise, it's just the usual noise. Then at the front, it's pretty much the same thing, but at 12 volts they're pretty quiet. So this is 7 volts, which is completely inaudible, so I would just run it at 7 volts or 12 volts with a fan speed reducer. Alright guys, time for a conclusion on the Raijintek Argos, and quite simply put, I like every single thing about it other than everything that has to do with this panel right here. Let's start with the good things first. So great things, these optical bays are really easy to use. It has dust filters all over the place. It looks pretty good for the price point, but more about that later. And well, you have rubber feet, so it doesn't move around. It's going to be vibration cancelled. That's all great. If you're going to put it on a carpet, your power supply can still breathe if you're one of the people who puts the fan down. You can even put an extra fan in there, which is still dust filtered, so for a case of this price, that's really, really brilliant. As I said, the only negative is the room behind the motherboard tray. Now, I already kind of did this conclusion-like part where, I talk about the kind of stuff I already should have said but kind of forgot because I film stuff now and put a voice over it instead of back in the early days of the channel where I just talked my way through everything. So yeah, I did a conclusion. I kind of wanted to give it a silver award, but I thought this case was, with the features it has and the build quality, which, features is great with this case. It has all the features every single other case has, no matter what the price point, other than maybe a fan controller. But yeah, the price, I thought it was 75 euros, and I talked to, I think it's the boss of Raijintek, and he told me it's only 50 euros, so I now have to completely redo this entire conclusion video because his case is really, really cheap or budget friendly. So with that in mind, it's really pretty easy choice, isn't it? It's a simple gold award. Everything's brilliant other than 1 centimeter too little space behind the motherboard tray, and a few cutouts here so you can put, you can hook your zip ties up to it. So with all of that in mind, it's time to end the video. If you liked it, press the like button. If you disliked it, press the dislike button. Don't forget to subscribe to Unicorn Reviews. It really helps an awful lot to have more subscribers. You guys probably don't half understand how important subscribers are on YouTube. So please do subscribe and leave a comment. Do you think this €50 Raijintek Argos is brilliant? Do you like white cases? Because that's something I'm not too sure of. I don't like white cases. But it kind of helps an awful lot when you're filming it, because on the black, it doesn't really show up well. But yeah, thanks for watching the video and don't forget to subscribe.